Show me.
Hello everybody, Martial Arts Film Freak here. It is SHAWTEMBER. It's September, but we here in the martial arts internet kung fu fandom community decided that September is SHAWTEMBER, and we're going to talk about some Shaw Brothers movies. Shaw Brothers is the studio that I did not really grow up with. I grew up with Jackie Chan and the modern kickboxing style of kung fu cinema. So, it was really an uphill climb for me to get into Shaw Brothers movies. But I think, as you can kind of see here, I've got a few films here, about 12 there. Got some more behind me. I'm in it. I'm in deep. And you know what? I like it. It's pretty fun. And as much as I would love to do just a huge deep dive into Shaw Brothers cinema, I don't know if you can tell by my voice, allergies are kicking my ass and it's making me feel just a tad lazy. So instead, I am just going to count down 5 of my favorite Shaw Brothers films. So here we go. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into my top 5 Shaw Brothers films. My number 5 pick makes about as much sense as Ty Dillinger coming out as number 10 in the Royal Rumble. Wrestling reference for the video. My number 5 pick is The 5 Deadly Venoms. Now this is pretty basic. It is a basic choice. That is not a wrong assessment. However, basic sometimes is just the right way to go. Directed by Chang Che, starring the Venoms, this film is really not much of an action-packed kung fu movie. There is, of course, some very fantastic kung fu fight scenes, but from my viewing of 5 Deadly Venoms, I found that it was far more a procedural mystery film. The Venoms are a group of people who train together, but always wore masks, never knowing the identity of the other Venoms, and the youngest one is tasked with searching down all of the other members, because 3 of them are assholes going around killing people, and only one other one is a good guy. So he has to go around finding out who is good, who is bad, which of these guys are the other Venoms, and that's a fun mystery. It really is really well done, but of course you get fantastic fighting. There's not really much to say about 5 Deadly Venoms. There's not a lot that really happens in it, as again, it is really more of a mystery with there's probably not only one big fight scene. Looking back on it, it only feels like there's one big fight scene at the end. There's not really a fight scene throughout the movie that I can even remember that was memorable enough for me to bring up here. I really only remember the ending. But it is just a completely solid, totally entertaining, engrossing film. I was very, very into the mystery of who the other Venoms were, who was good, who was bad. You kind of knew who 2 of the bad ones were, sort of a dramatic irony of knowing what the hero of the film doesn't know. But even though you know like the identity of at least 2 of them, there's still like one that it's like, who's the last one? I really, really enjoyed the film, and if you haven't seen 5 Deadly Venoms, you need to. Number 4 is surprisingly another Chang Che film, and that is Heroes 2. Heroes 2 stars Quan Tai Chen and Alexander Fu Shang in a heroic thrill ride of kung fu spectacular. Honestly, I don't remember a lot of this movie. I just know that it really stuck with me, the action. Fu Shang, Quan Tai Chen, both give off wonderful performances, the late Alexander Fu Shang and the amazing Quan Tai Chen. I love there's a scene where one of them is captured and they dig a tunnel to the room where he's chained up, and they're tapping on the wall behind him to communicate. And just there's a whole bunch of actually good fight scenes throughout the movie, but that final fight scene, just a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of different gangs, and then Quan Tai Chen and Alexander Fu Shang teaming up. The ending of Heroes 2 is one of my favorite Shaw Brothers endings. And that's saying something, because even looking at something like what is it? Another Alexander Fu Shang movie, Avenging Eagle. There's so many others. Freaking, I don't like calling it Crippled Avengers. Return of the 5 Deadly Venoms is what I had growing up, and I understand why. Shaw Brothers has so many fantastic final fight scenes, and the final fight scene of Heroes 2 is just spectacular. I think I would even put it above the final fight scene of Martial Law. Martial Law, surprisingly, way over there, not on my list here, but it just barely was edged out, and probably honestly by this movie. It's just that good. Number 3, again, we're sticking with Chang-Chi, which is weird because I've always told myself that I was not a Chang-Chi guy. I really don't care for Chang-Chi that much. I don't like his style. I don't like his choreography, his directing style compared to another director that I will get to in the final 2 films here. I'm not a Chang-Chi guy, which is weird that 3 of his films are taking up my top 5. But number 3 is going to be Chang-Chi's The Kid with the Golden Arm. One thing you get with Shaw Brothers Chang-Chi films is, like, just colorful characters. Like, it's a comic book. Every character has, like, this signifier of, like, their ability, their style, their dress, their weapon of choice, and that will also reflect on their name, like Iron Head or something like that. And that is a Chang-Chi thing. One of my favorites is in Avenging Eagle, and it's like I remember watching Avenging Eagle for the first time, and everybody was just wearing a different color, and I was like, this is the Power Rangers. But this is the best example, because you have the 2 gangs, the heroes and the villains, and each of them are just, like, their name is completely based off of their weapon or their fighting style and ability. Short axe, like short axe and spear or whatever like that. Kid with the golden arm, of course, is the main villain there. It's wonderful. It is some of the best Venoms fighting I think you're going to get. And I haven't seen every Venoms film. I've probably only seen 4 or 5. But this is my favorite Venoms film. I love the villain. I love Philip Kwok. I'm not sure if that was the villain. Liu Fang in this movie is great. I think it's Chang Shang. Who is Short Axe. He's fantastic. My favorite. This has my favorite use of like a chain whip, and it's not quite a chain whip. It's almost like more of a whip with like a multiple sections, like a 3-section staff, but like a lot of small sections with like a needle with the spike on the end. One of the characters pulls out one of those at the end and just uses it in one of the most beautiful flurries I have ever seen. It is fantastic. I absolutely love The Kid with the Golden Arm. I don't even think I own it, which is sad. I need to. If I don't know if 88 Films or anybody has put out a copy of that, but if so, I need to get it because I freaking love The Kid with the Golden Arm. Even if you haven't seen The Kid with the Golden Arm, do yourself a favor and just look up all the fight scenes. They are phenomenal. Number 2, this is where we get to my boy, the guy I do say I prefer over Chang-Chi, and that is Lau Kar-Leung. We are going with number 2 spot, Lau Kar-Leung's Eastern Heroes. Eastern Heroes starts off with a weird premise. This, of course, stars the wonderful Gordon Liu. The premise here is that Gordon Liu, being Chinese, marries a Japanese woman. Now, they bicker a lot, but they don't just bicker like talk, yelly, yappy bicker. No. They bicker by fighting each other physically in maybe a not so healthy way. He, of course, is using his Chinese styles, and she is using her Japanese styles. And I can't remember if he's besting her most of the time, but she essentially writes home to her, like, uncle and says, like, she pretty much just says, like, he's disrespecting our style. But her family back home takes it so seriously that they're like, she told us we need to come kill your ass. So he brings everybody. He brings the whole family. Dom Toretto would have been proud of this dude. The uncle here, or maybe her grandfather, but I'm pretty sure it's her uncle here, is played by the wonderful, who the frick is it now that I'm blanking? Yasuaki Kurata. Yes, Yasuaki Kurata here is playing the Dominic Toretto, bringing the fam to support the fam. He brings just a whole bunch of people who do different Japanese styles. I think there's maybe like a judo guy in there. There's somebody with nunchucks. He's more of like a ninja guy. You got somebody with a sword, a certain staff, a certain this style, that style, whatever style. And the whole movie is just freaking fight scenes, and it's good. Gordon Liu having to go up against the nunchucks with a 3-section staff. Gordon Liu has to go find a drunk dude in the village to go learn drunken boxing to fight somebody. Just style versus style, Chinese sword versus Japanese sword, this versus that. It's just fighting, and it's so much fighting, and it is some of the very freaking best you are ever going to watch. I know, I get it. This isn't like the craziest deep dive into Shaw Brothers films. I know there's a whole bunch of crazier, like just different Shaw Brothers films that I'm not even mentioning here. Honestly, I could have even put on Jet Li's Martial Arts of Shaolin. Didn't even come to mind until right now. I've been thinking about this for like 2 days. These 5 films are above Martial Arts of Shaolin for me. I know these movies are going to be pretty basic to some of you Shaw Brothers deep divers, but you know what? Basic be good, basic be delicious. Everybody loves them a good pumpkin frappuccino in the fall time, because you know why? It's freaking delicious. This movie, Eastern Heroes, these fight scenes, Yasuaki Karada versus Gordon Liu, 3-section staff versus nunchucks, Chinese sword, Japanese sword, judo, whatever the crap he does, drunken boxing against Japanese style, it's freaking pumpkin spice latte, and it's delicious. But yes, Eastern Heroes is just non-stop action, and it rules. Go watch it. Number 1, sticking with my main man here, sticking with the Lau Kar-Lung. Hell, we're sticking with the Gordon Liu, and we're bringing back some Alexander Fusheng, and we're introducing some Kara Hui, because, you know, it's freaking 8-diagram pole fighter. I can't deny 8-diagram pole fighter is freaking good. Some of you may be thinking 8-diagram pole fighter over freaking Martial Club? 8-diagram pole fighter over Martial Club. Am I crazy? 8-diagram pole fighter over Avenging Eagle. I keep going back to that. 8-diagram pole fighter over Shaolin Mantis, over the Crippled Avengers, whatever, any other freaking movie. 5 Elements Ninja. I don't care. The 8-diagram pole fighter didn't have to go as hard as it does, but it does. The 8-diagram pole fighter stars, of course, Alexander Fusheng, Gordon Liu, and Kara Hui. This was Alexander Fusheng's final film. He did not finish it before he passed away in an unfortunate car accident, in which I feel like the film handles brilliantly. So the film is about Gordon Liu and Alexander Fusheng and Kara Hui. They are siblings. The 2 brothers are part of like a whole group led by their father of just warriors. And the whole beginning of this movie, the first 10 minutes, is all of their brothers and their father getting freaking slaughtered. Bloodshed, gory violence, but they survive. One of them makes it home. That would be Alexander Fusheng. He makes it home, and he's a little bit crazy from his experiences of watching all of his brothers get cut down. The other one makes it to a monastery, makes it to some monks, and he keeps asking, train me. Please, for the love of God, train me. And they're like, no, dude, we don't know you. You've killed people. You have bad intentions. You want revenge. We ain't training you for nothing. Which leads to a wonderful scene of freaking Gordon Liu saying, like, I don't care, you're going to train me. He like shaves off his hair, he like burns marks into his head like the monks have, and it's just, I love that scene so much. I think he says in the dub, I don't know if he says it in the sub, he says like, if you won't train me, then I'm gonna burn this temple down, and that rules. I mean, that's bad, that's arsony, but in the movie it works. But the training is fantastic. It's one of the best examples of training being used in the final fight, which is a big thing in Kung Fu cinema. It's not the only movie that does that, but it does it wonderfully. The way it sort of handles the Alexander Fusheng death is it just sort of writes him out very plainly, and Kara Hui takes over. She's already in the film as the sister. She takes over. She goes out. She has a wonderful fight scene with just like some dudes outside of an inn or something, and then like she recognizes one of their weapons and shows that she's part of a certain clan or whatever, certain family, and they're like, oh, actually we're cool. But that fight scene before that, it's a real good one. Kara Hui rules. Of course, there is the moment in this film that had me absolutely entranced. I could not look away from the screen. I didn't care if I had a phone, a comic book, or anything in my freaking hand. I could not stop staring at the fight between Philip Ko, the abbot, and Gordon Liu. It is some of the very best staff pole choreography you will ever watch. And there's some good shit out there. I've seen some good shit. But oh, holy Jesus Christ among men. Oh God, I can't. there's the combative part of the choreography. There is the element of it being like a dance. There is the ending where they accidentally like carve like a yin yang symbol into the ground. Them knocking over like lampposts and stuff, throwing around pillows that they're stepping on. The choreography in this fight scene, pole versus pole, Philip Coe versus Gordon Liu, is my favorite Shaw Brothers fight scene ever. That's over anything. I don't care. That's over the final fight of Martial Club. That's over the final fight of Five Deadly Venoms or Five Elements Ninja, over King Boxer. I don't care. That fight between Philip Coe and Gordon Liu is wonderful. And there is one of the most hyped moments in the end fight scene. Gordon Liu and Kara Hui fighting this gang that has slaughtered their brothers. And when he keeps begging the monks all movie, help me. And they say, no, that's not our MO. We don't fight, we don't kill. And part of their training was shoving the poles in the mouths of wooden dummies. Wooden dummies made out to be wolves, and ripping out their teeth, because a wolf without teeth is no longer a threat. So the whole movie, he's asking them, help us take on these marauders, help us take out this gang. And the monks are saying, no, we're not going to help you that's not what we do. But in the end, they do show up, and they do the exact training they've been doing. They're ripping out the teeth of all these marauders. And he says, like, he asks the abbot, he says, like, why are you helping me? You said that you don't kill or you don't do this. And he just says, we're not killing anybody. We're fighting off wolves. Oh my God, when he said we're fighting off wolves, oh, that hit so hard. I don't know why. It's a kung fu movie. It's a dumb kung fu movie, and the dialogue had me floored. It's so freaking good. It is, in my opinion, the most must-watch Shaw Brothers film to me. To some people, it's not going to be, but for me, it is. Tell me yours in the comment section down below. What are your top 5 Shaw Brothers films? What is your favorite Shaw Brothers fight scene? Philip Coe versus Gordon Liu for me. The 8 Diagram Pole Fighter. I forever love this movie. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook. That is Martial Arts Film Freak on Facebook. Martial Arts Film Freak on Instagram. Tristan_Glover on the Twitter. And Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.